Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Mike Harris, President and live member of the Australian American Association, Brisbane, to do the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike Harris. Thank you.
And just in finishing, I'd like to you to charge your glasses and stand, if you're able to, for a Thanksgiving toast. And I'll read it out. The Thanksgiving toast is, that I propose, here's to family, to friendships, and to the countless blessings that we have made in our lives, have made our lives so beautiful and ever so meaningful. Happy days, everybody. Happy days.
I'm disinclined to speak with something between me and you. Well, we gather together this evening to celebrate that most wonderful of American traditions, Thanksgiving. But in this same month, November, there are two other events in both nations' national calendars that are equally important. In the United States, it is Veterans Day, and here in Australia, it is Remembrance Day. And in the brief words I have to offer you this evening, I wonder if I might join those three events together. Nearly 110 years ago, 16,000 Australian and New Zealand soldiers surged across the shores towards the rugged cliffs of the Dardanelles at Gallipoli. More than 8,000 perished. Roughly 90 years later, hundreds of thousands of American soldiers and Marines found themselves deployed to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I fought with them in both those wars as a lone Australian embedded with my American mates. In the year or so that I served with them in Iraq, we lost 1,000 of our own killed and over 4,000 wounded. Those original Anzacs and those American soldiers and Marines fought, endured, and they died for something. And the men and women of both those nations that have fought at different places at different times have done so for the same thing. And that thing was you. It was us, the people of Australia, the people of the United States. All those soldiers gave freely of themselves so that their families, their mates, and their mates' families could live in lands that were free. And we do live in countries that are as free and as democratic, with some imperfections, as any that there is. And that is our good luck, our plain good luck. And we should make something of it. Whether we make or we mar the freedom and the opportunity that has been left to us is up to us. We inherit the traditions from every battle that the soldiers of both nations have fought in. The ennobling qualities of selflessness, courage, humour. But we won't be ennobled just because they were. We can use them as inspiration. We can use them as a standard. But from here on, it's what we do that counts. Think of those soldiers in the Badlands of Afghanistan. At midnight, in their blacked out helicopters, as they are spearing towards their assault objective. What's going through their minds? They're keyed up. They're determined to do well. But they have doubts and fears too. What the hell is this going to be like? Will I be good enough? Will this be the last thing that I ever do? And for some it was. Their doubts and fears, because first they put the needs of their mates, of their team, of their country. Some of us, as we confront the challenges of day-to-day life, we have those doubts and fears too. And the bravest amongst us do. If you do, you may want to think about those soldiers in the Badlands of Afghanistan. Perhaps draw some inspiration. They didn't ask themselves, what's in this for me? They knew there was a bit of hardship, a risk to limb and life. They didn't say, I'm going to take this easy. Near enough is good enough. No. They were determined to put the utmost of their mind, their body and their spirit into the challenge ahead. Seems to me a good way to go about life. Taking pride in everything we do and not being afraid to put more into it than we might get out. This month, Thanksgiving, but we also remember our fallen. You know, in the towns and cities in both of our big nations, there are memorials to them. Those memorials are important. But there's another memorial. Us. And how we go about our lives. The memorial, what's in this for me? They knew there was a bit of hardship, a risk to limb and life. They didn't say, I'm going to take this easy. Near enough is good enough. No. They were determined to put the utmost of their mind, their body and their spirit into the challenge ahead. Seems to me a good way to go about life. Taking pride in everything we do and not being afraid to put more into it than we might get out. This month, Thanksgiving, but we also remember our fallen. You know, in the towns and cities in both of our big nations, there are memorials to them. And those memorials are important. But there's another memorial. Us. And how we go about our lives. The memorial that our fallen would wish for. I like to think that they can look down upon us and are able to say, we did not die in vain. Our sons and daughters have made a great thing of the land and the opportunities we kept for them. So perhaps at this time of Thanksgiving, we might not only be grateful for what we have, but perhaps we might also commit to contribute to building our communities, our nations, that are examples to, well, anyone who cares to notice, in freedom, in a fair go, and in honest hard work. I think that would be a good way for us to celebrate Thanksgiving and to respect the sacrifice of those who fought for us. Thank you.